everyone. Today we're working on the same mower we worked on yesterday, mainly because I didn't finish it yesterday. So what are we doing with this time? Well, as you can tell, the back wheels, let me show you, are a tad not new, and you know, they should be replaced. I asked the owner if they wanted to replace them. He said no, and to be honest, this is kind of above and beyond on mine, and it's a little selfish, but let me explain why. We're going to turn this on. I want you to hear something that I literally have to listen to every 3 days. So, I don't know if you caught that, but what it is when you lift up the wheels, it's completely fine. There's no problem. But if there's any type of resistance, such as weight of the mower and gravity, or going up a hill, an insanely annoying squealing noise occurs. And that happens most definitely when it first starts, but if there's any change in the speed, it will do it at that changing moment. But if you keep it consistent, then it will usually stay the same. Majority of the time, the guy that uses this is going pretty fast. The problem is he doesn't mow the long option. He usually does multiple small passes, if you know what I mean. So let's say, for example, you have a 15 by 10 foot front yard. Instead of going 10 rows of 15 feet, he'll do 15 rows of 10 feet. Get the picture now? Real loud and annoying. So technically what you should be doing is replacing the back wheels. That's a simple bolt on, remove, or bolt off, remove, bolt on, that's fine. Second thing is the pulley on these do go out. The reason why we're not changing it today is it looks fairly decent from what I gathered. It could change once I actually take the belt off, but it looks fairly decent, and I'm leaving out of town and he needs this back before I leave. So I mean, right now he's out of town, so he's gonna need it when he gets home, and I can't wait for this part. But in the meantime, we're going to be replacing it with this belt. What's happening is the belt is slipping, and it's causing that incredibly annoying noise. This is a genuine Honda belt. It is a 22431-V as in Victor, L as in Larry, O as in Oscar, dash P as in Paul, 01 belt. Now, you can just go to like a hardware store and buy a belt that's roughly the same size, or technically should be the same size. Don't correct me on this. I think it is 39 by ½ inch V-belt. I could be wrong on the 39 inches though, but it's definitely a half. So, but it's just better to get the Honda one, because it very well could be 39.5, assuming of course 39 is the right number. Could be 39.25. You just don't really know unless you take it off and measure. And even then, you're measuring a worn belt. Save yourself the hassle. This is literally not much more expensive. In fact, and think it, if I called my local hardware or automotive store, this was actually $1 cheaper. So I'm gonna get this tipped over. Took off the blade. Don't need to do that. Well, you do. I just don't need to show you. Try to lower the noise as much as possible. Now, I also just changed the oil on the transmission because I wanted to do it. So yours shouldn't be oily. But we need to take off the blade adapter. Now, While you're doing this is an excellent time to both sharpen your blades and change your oil, which is why it's tipped over. Mine's already empty, but I let it run for a little bit too. Now, sometimes, I mean, you might need to take it off with a puller, but I loosen these 10 mils right here. This is a guide for the actual belt. I'll get you in on here. So that just fits in there. Now, sometimes this comes right off. Other times you need your handy tool. So the fishing out part's hard, but if you disconnect the cable up here, it just slides on this little hook. And then you loosen these two screws. You can move these little guides out of the way. We need to loosen it more, but after you loosen it enough, you can take the belt out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, now you take the belt out. We just put the new one in and tighten up those two bolts. This is a new one. This is the old. So you can see the difference. I mean, it's not much, but it's definitely some. It's even lost a millimeter of depth, probably at least 2 millimeters of width, and it's not really cracking, but you could definitely tell it's worn. So I'm going to put the fish new one on, then bring it back. Okay, got the two bolts tightened. Belt is on there. From there, if we need to, we just need to tighten the cable, but I think that should be a lot better. Now, like I said, if you do need to replace this, it's not that expensive. But since I didn't show you actually taking this off, let's go ahead and put this guard back on. Or this guide, really. It's not really a guard. I suppose it could be guarding. Guarding from a real aggravating time if it fell off. There we go. Now, this is keyed. We have to find the keyway. I'm just gonna get that on. I'm gonna put the blades on. Like I said, I'm gonna sharpen them as well. Perfect time, and then we'll give it a try. Okay, let's recap. I changed the oil, sharpened the blades, replaced the belt. Like I said, it's real easy. Disconnect the cable, undo those two bolts. The little bracket is kind of a pain, even if you loosen or remove the bolts. It's just the way it is. But with a little finagling, should be fine. Put it back on, and if you do want to get a new pulley, you replace the pulley. Those are like $8. Like I said, this one doesn't look too bad, and should be good. The only other thing, I changed the oil in the transmission. It didn't need it, but I wanted to do it anyway. I was already down there, might as well. If you do that, just make sure that you put the correct amount in. Look at your manual. For this one, if I remember correctly, I think it's at 4 ounces. So put that in, call it good. If you're gonna do a full and complete, you'd be buying new wheels, as well as potentially even a new cable. This one appears to be fine, but if you do want to make the adjustments, it's right here. You would loosen the nut, the cable then grows or shrinks, causing it to be more or less tension, and it should be good to go. If you are at the maximum of your adjustment, then you need to get a new belt. Your belt probably looks like this one. You don't want it to look like this one. In fact, let's measure this. So that was a 1/2 inch. It is now 3/8. Yeah, that's a fairly significant difference. So from 1/2 inch to 3/8, so it lost a whole 1/8 of an inch. However many millimeters that is, I don't know. So it's a pretty decent size change. And like I said, you can go to the store, just buy one. I think it's 39.5, could be 37.5, I don't know. But just buy the Honda belt for the HRR216. That's what this is. A lot of them are exactly the same. If you type in your model number, you're probably going to get this belt anyway. It should be fine. But just to make sure, type in your model number and just find that belt. If you do order it, though, I ordered it on Amazon. It says it's going to take 8 days to get here. It was here in 2. So it's pretty fast. And like I said, it was pretty cheap. So let's give it a try. I'm going to leave it on the 4. It should be enough tension to make it squeal. It squealed while on the table, and the table is even slicker than the floor. So it should be a good testing ground. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to pull on it because it was upside down, well, on its side for a real long time. Okay. I just want to make sure. I mean, I don't think there was any oil that could have gone in there, especially since I drained it all, but you never know. Or excuse me, not oil, gas. The carb was upside down or on its side for quite a bit of time. Give it a pull. And I did put oil in it. Oh yeah, that's way better. I can even tell when the handle, when you press on it, before there was, oh man, at least an inch of play. Now there's hardly any, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Huh. You lose 1/8 of an inch of a belt, you gain an inch of play on the handle. So if your Honda mower is making a really screechy noise, or is losing power quite drastically, or your cable has no more adjustment left in it because you've over adjusted it, you're at that point you need a new cable. If you buy the belt and it still is screeching or still slipping, you need to get a pulley. Not that hard. Like I said, the only reason I'm not doing that is because it would not be here in time. The belt, however, was going to be here a lot earlier, and my neighbor needs to mow. But like I said, it's real simple. When you take it off, just slide the pulley off, slide on the new one, and you're set to go. Okay, well, hopefully this helped. If you like what you see, keep on watching. Definitely subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video, and have a good night.